For 5 decades, Gloria Estefan's music has moved the world. This is Let It Loose, a Gloria Estefan podcast, the first fan-led show dedicated to her life, legacy, and impact. Lifelong Este-Fans, Carlos, Rob, and Wes explore the songs, moments, and stories that make Gloria an icon. If her music changed your life, then welcome home.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back from spring break. Welcome back to another episode of Let It Loose. My name is Rob.
I'm Wes.
I'm Carlos, and we have a special guest co-host today. Go ahead and say who you are.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Hemley, and I am from the UK. Woo-hoo.
Woohoo! How was everyone's spring break?
Short.
Very short. But we're back. We're rested, I think.
Yes, it's a day of firsts for us. Our first co-host, our first big interview. It's a major day for Let It Loose.
I know. I'm really excited. And so one thing about Mr. Matt Hemley, our co-host, I finally got to meet him last year for the first time in person. However, Matt, we've known each other for quite some time. It's been a few years.
Yeah. Carlos, don't stitch me up.
I had no idea how much trouble he and I would get into. Yeah. Yeah.
Trouble.
Matt, share. Oh yeah.
Let's hear about this trouble.
Right, guys, basically, I wanted to go on a cultural trip to a very special Madrid museum, and I was taking it very seriously, and Carlos would not pay attention to anything. He just wanted to ruin the fun for everyone, and I was so embarrassed. Is that how you record it?
Such a lie. You're such a liar. That is not what happened. So I was the one that wanted to embrace the culture because I had never been to Spain before. So I booked us a tour of the El Palacio Real, right? So I'm taking this very seriously. Matt shows up and we were like two freaking kids. I mean, misbehaving. Everyone they were all giving us dirty looks. It was just so bad. And all we could do was piss our pants laughing. We almost got kicked out.
Yeah. You almost got kicked out.
Oh, yeah. The tour guide hated us. You could absolutely see by the end she was, I mean, I'm not surprised. We were quite probably horrible people to have on the tour, right, Carlos? But I'm pretty sure we're not allowed back in that palace anymore.
I definitely don't think we're allowed back. But my God, did we have fun that day?
Have fun.
And the reason why we were in Madrid was for Gloria's concert that she did back in October, which that was an amazing show. Matt, you had a blast.
Yeah, so much fun. I can't believe that we managed to wangle the kind of front row, after a lot of like hustling back and forwards. Like we finally got to the front, and I remember seeing Gloria afterwards. She came to do the Graham Norton show over here, and she said to me, "Oh, did you have fun?" And I was like, "Of course I did. Could you see me?" And I forget I'm 6'5", and she just looks at me and she's like, "Of course I can see you." And then I stick out like a sore thumb. And in every picture I've got, honestly, in every picture I've got with me and Gloria, it's like I've got her in a headlock. She's up and down.
It's true. It looks like she's sitting down in all the pictures that you take with her.
I am sitting down, funny.
That is awesome. Well, Matt, I know that you were just appointed the new editor of the British entertainment magazine, The Stage, which is a monthly online magazine that's also considered the theater Bible. Now, you've been with The Stage for quite some time, correct?
Yeah, this is my 20th year.
Oh, congratulations.
I know. I can see your faces and like, that can't be possible. He's only 25 or whatever. But anyway, I've been there a long time. I absolutely love theatre. And that's why when Gloria announced on Your Feet, it was like a match made in heaven. I was like, this can't be true. This can't be like my hero and musical theatre merging into one. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Matt, did you ever cross the pond when it premiered here in the US, whether it was in Chicago or in New York?
Are you kidding? Yeah. So I came to Broadway to see it, and the reason I came to Broadway, obviously, like because I love Gloria, but this is going to sound horrible. And if you're listening, Gloria, I'm very sorry. I didn't think it would ever come to London, if I'm completely honest. I thought
Oh,
this
okay.
it's going to be a Broadway show, and that would be the kind of extent of it. I've just lost my
Mm.
fan card. But so I was like, yeah, I'm getting on a plane. I went to see it, and I met Gloria that week with loads of other like European fans who had flown over, and we had the best time. And then when I got back, I remember I was in like a kind of a conference with loads of theatre people, and one producer came up to me and kind of whispered in my ear and said, "We've got something you're gonna like." And I was like, "Oh my God, what is it?" And it's like, "We're bringing On Your Feet over." And I was like, "I've just flown to Broadway. Like, it's fine." I mean, obviously, I'm not going to complain going to Broadway, but and then we got it in the UK, which was a dream. And obviously Holland before that. I went to
Hmm.
Holland too. I followed it around
Oh,
like a
Oh, so you've
bad.
nice.
seen multiple productions of it.
Yeah. The
That's great.
Holland
That's great.
it wasn't in the British language, so that was interesting.
So, Matt, are you coming in as a professional or as a full-on Este-FAN today?
Carlos, you know me by now. I'm never professional. Um,
Yeah, but I don't know if Gloria knows this side of you. So that
mean,
does she know this chaotic, unhinged side of Matt Hemley?
I think she thinks I'm quite straight-laced and kind of like, because my messages to her are always so respectful and nice. It's like, "Oh, hi, how's things going? Like, I hope, and I know you are much more kind of like, wow, crazy,
Yeah.
but
That's a good Carlos
I'm
impression.
far too respectful. So no, she probably doesn't know this side of me.
Yeah, I
Um,
always joke around that they talk like family, but I'm in your I understand where you're coming from, Matt. That's how I am.
yeah, I'm very polite with Gloria.
Yeah.
So yeah, me too. I completely understand that. But Matt, what was like your fandom growing up? Like when did you discover Gloria? When did it hit for you?
Yeah, so I was 11 years old, and my dad had loved this song "Go Away." And when you're a kid and you don't have loads of money, so I was like, "What do you want for your birthday, Dad?" He was like, "If you just get me this single, just this single tape for like this Go Away, that'd be amazing." So I did. I bought that, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a good song." And I basically stole it back off him, his birthday present. And then after that, I went and bought everything preceding that song, and then everything from that day I bought because I became obsessed with this sound that I hadn't experienced before. And I just, it made me feel like, I've said this to other people like all the time, but it just made me feel like no music has made me feel like so kind of like alive and happy. I just became a little bit obsessed, and that was 36 years ago.
Hmm.
And I've followed her around ever since, literally followed her around ever since. So,
Well, not
surprise.
only yeah, not only
Go on,
followed her
Carla.
around, not only followed her around, but interviewed her multiple times. So, what is something about her that surprised you the first time you met her or interviewed her?
I think, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise, but everybody always says never meet your heroes because they just let you down and they're like, it's disappointing. It just, that was from day one, that wasn't the case. And the first time I ever met her, I was working for another newspaper at the time. So this was going back 20 years. I was covering radio, and the press officer for the radio station said, "We've got Gloria coming in. I know you're a fan. Do you want to come in and sit on this interview?" They brought me into this interview, and Gloria was being interviewed about something. It was about a 45-minute slot, but they didn't introduce me. So I'm sat there, it's the DJ, Gloria, and me, and she's just like going, "Who is this weirdo that's just shaking in the corner?" Uh, and then, and then at the end, I introduced myself and said, "I'm a fan." And she was like, "Oh my God, why didn't you say so?" And then completely was like interested and chatting. And this is, I tell this story all the time, but I bought her a Christmas pudding because I didn't think Cubans ate Christmas pudding. I still don't know if they do. So I got her a very traditional British Christmas pudding and said, "I've got you a gift." And then from that day on, every time I met her, or if we went out into like groups of people, she would tell people that I was the guy that bought her a Christmas pudding. So I think I'm Christmas pudding man. You can call myself that.
Why haven't I been offered this Christmas pudding?
I'll get you one, Carlos. I'll get you one.
At
Next
least
time
do
you come and visit.
something. At least do something nice for
Is
once.
it, is it something, do you guys eat Christmas pudding?
I have
No.
no
I've
idea.
never heard of
I'm
this.
yeah, I'm wondering what Christmas pudding is.
Wow, even
What?
Wes doesn't know, and he's
No.
What?
the least
Oh,
culturally Cuban of all of us.
you
Yeah.
can tell, you can ask Gloria because she's had one. There
Is
you
it
go.
Is
like
it
a
one of those
fruit
things
cake?
that's like super
Well,
tough and
that's
hard?
It's a fruit cake with, but you pour it in like rum, and on Christmas Day you set fire to the rum, and it goes up in flames.
Wow.
And then
Oh,
A
Yeah,
rummy
that's
fancy.
fruitcake.
yeah.
I
I don't
can't
think
believe.
that's an American thing, not that I'm aware of anyway. So that must be
All right, well
just a
then it was a good
that
gift.
sounds great. Yeah.
I found a new nickname for you, Carlos. Rummy fruitcake.
Don't you start your shit. That's not how we're gonna start this now. So, Matt, from your perspective at the stage, how significant was On Your Feet in bringing Gloria's story to Broadway or the West End?
Really significant. I mean, an iconic musician, and her story on stage, and it was brilliant. And also, what I think I loved about it from the UK perspective is like, obviously, there's always been a really steady fan base for Gloria in the UK, like a real kind of loyalty. But many people it's the kind of person you say, oh, I used to love that song. Or, oh my God, she sang that. And I think what On Your Feet did was just bring it back into people's minds that she had this amazing back catalogue, and then at the same time introduce it to a whole new audience of people that I knew, a lot of younger people who were like, oh, these songs are so good. And I'm like, yeah, we've been saying this for years. But that's what I love about On Your Feet. I just think it brings, it's nostalgic for so many people, but it also takes it forward for a whole new generation.
Absolutely. And I love that they were able to showcase some songs that weren't familiar, like When Someone Comes Into Your Life,
Or
um,
famous.
or Famous,
Hmm.
ones that as Este-FANs we really enjoy very much, but not, the general public may not be familiar with them.
Yeah, totally. And it was such a lovely, lively show. I thought the choreography was amazing, and and I thought they told the story really well. I couldn't work out when it was first announced how they were going to tell her story and what part of her life it would be, but it makes so much sense now that I've seen it that you would, you know, go all the way to the success of Conga in that one, and that kind of reaching those heights, and then obviously the accident in Act Two. I just didn't know where they were going to stop it, but I think they framed it perfectly actually. Although I think we could have a part two, don't you? There's so many more that we could
Oh my
um,
God, absolutely.
Please.
like maybe as she gets older, it could be like On Your Knees,
Oh
lying
no,
down.
you didn't.
It's a different show.
You see what I'm telling you? Everyone thinks that Matt Hemley is this sweet, soft-spoken, quiet, shy guy. Nope, not at all. And
Oh
that's why we get
God.
along so well.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great.
Oh, I'm gonna be blacklisted. I'm terrible. Anyway.
I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Oh, good. I hope it happens.
I know.
Speaking of looking forward, are you looking forward to Gloria and Emily's upcoming musical, Basura?
Absolutely. And what I love, I think it's got such an amazing creative team. Like, if you look at the people that are working on that show,
Mhm.
the pedigree of those people, like I hope I get his surname right, Michael Grafe, or Michael Grief, who has directed so many amazing productions on Broadway. To have people like that, to have the music director Alex Lacamoire, tell me if I'm saying these names wrong, but and then of course Emily and Gloria writing the songs. It's on paper that can't go wrong. That's a really successful show right there waiting to happen. And I just wishing them all the best with it, because it's tough. It's tough launching new shows. New musicals are notoriously hard. With On Your Feet, you've got the back catalogue of Gloria, which is like a great selling point. This is a brand new musical, so you're asking audiences to take a punt on something that they don't know. They don't necessarily know the story. I know it's based on something, so it's a bigger ask. But I think they've got all the right people in place to make that a hit.
Well,
You
we
see
have
why we brought him on? Because he legitimized our Broadway dog and pony show here with his expertise.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
We have a friend of the show, our friend Luigi, that went to one of the, and I know nothing about theater to that extent and everything that happens beforehand, but there was a show for the investors, I believe, and he got to sit in and listen to the music, and he was blown away with what was performed. So the music that Gloria and Emily worked on, I'm really excited based off of what he heard, and his message to be there. So we're gonna go. May 30th is the premiere. I believe June 12th is when it opens.
Opening night.
So, Yep, in Atlanta. So we're really excited to be there, support, and to hear. Gloria keeps on mentioning how this is almost like, even though she's not the one singing the songs, but this is almost like an album of hers, So it'll be interesting to see both Emily and Gloria, together, what musical baby they come up with.
You know, Elton
Absolutely.
John has released concept albums of his musicals that he records himself, and Sarah Bareilles did too. I'm just saying, Gloria and Emily, if you
Yeah.
want to release a concept album of Basura's music, I wouldn't hate it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I didn't know that, Rob. But yeah, that would be great. That was what I was thinking before you even said that.
So are you excited to meet Anna today?
I can't believe it.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I love her. I love her to bits. And we've got her coming. I know we'll talk about this, but she's just about to come to the West End. So it's perfect timing. It's going to be great to chat to her.
All right, so today we're joined by an incredible talent who has made her mark on stage and screen. You may know her as the original Gloria Estefan in the Broadway hit On Your Feet, a performance that earned her a Theatre World Award and widespread acclaim. From television to film to theater, Anna Villafañe continues to captivate audiences with her voice, presence, and authenticity. We're so excited to have her with us today. Anna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
We have been so over the moon excited for this entire week. Every day, I think we don't end the day without saying Anna's going to be on the show.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm so looking forward. So same. It's equally cool to connect with you guys and talk about this specific version of just everything. So it's great.
That's awesome. What part of the world are you in today?
I'm in New York City. So I'm based in New York. I've been based in New York since On Your Feet, actually, which is wild because that's just not how it happens usually. And I'm like very aware of that. People don't usually like move to New York with like this incredible starring role in a new Broadway show that becomes this like worldwide hit. But it kind of tracks considering who they are and considering the role I was playing. So yeah, it's definitely a fairy tale version of moving to New York.
That's awesome. And so you moved to New York, was it in 2015?
Technically, I mean, because I moved in October of 2014 when we were when we started rehearsals for the Out of Town in Chicago.
Okay. And
So,
that's where I met you.
right,
Mm.
Yeah.
exactly. So it goes way back. Yeah. And then
Oh.
and then I guess full time was for 2015 when we opened on Broadway or when we started rehearsals to open on Broadway.
Now, you weren't born in Miami. You were born in
No.
Atlanta?
Yes, contrary to popular belief, because everyone thinks I was born in Miami, which I'll happily allow people to be confused. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and then moved to Miami when I was 5. So like I did
Okay.
grow up in Miami, yeah, and then like would still go back and forth to Atlanta a lot for like holidays and stuff because I have family basically split in both places.
Okay. And then so let's talk about acting. So when
Let's
did the acting bug hit you? Was it acting or singing? What or kind of both?
Singing came first, which was when I was 7, and then acting came from that because what do you do with a little kid who can sing, and so my parents kind of didn't really know what to do with me and my energy, and so I would sing in choirs at school. I hated choirs.
Really?
I didn't love the concept of like, because the blending in and all of that. And even though it's super important now looking back as like a professional, I'm like, okay, yeah, those are good things for kids to learn. But I was always a little bit rebellious and so I'd be like sneaking in like lizards and frogs to choir rehearsals, and I was always trying to like set myself apart in different ways, and I'd get kicked out of the choir at school because of my behavior, and then I would get asked back when they had a big performance and needed me.
Oh my God.
So I
So
was kind of the black sheep, but did a lot of choirs. And then when I was 9, I did my first musical, which was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at Actors Playhouse in Miami, which is a professional theater, and it was an equity show. It was a professional production. I didn't realize that because I was in 4th grade. But I did realize it clicked when my school in 4th grade, as a 4th grader, my entire school came on a field trip to see the show. And I was
oh,
like, this
Wow.
is cool to me. And so that's when it hit me that like that people did this for a job and that it was like legit. And I just kept going from there doing musicals and it worked. I don't know.
Anna, Anna, what was the
Clearly.
role? What did you play in it?
I was like one of the, you know, like the children that are like red and yellow
Oh,
and green.
oh my God! So you had to do the kind of
You knew all the colors.
Yes,
Oh my
exactly. All
God.
of that. I was a soprano too. I was in a teal t-shirt and like my hair like kind of like that, like in like two like ponytails, like half up, half down, and a really unfortunate pair of khaki pants.
Can you
But
still name all the colors from that song? Because there's a lot of colors in that song.
no, no, I don't no, definitely not. Definitely not. But it was, you know, it was a great experience. And I remember just falling in love with Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm a huge, people do not realize what a big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan I am. And I
Oh,
feel
we're
like
going to
there's
get
two
another
schools
famous
of
hit.
thought. You know, there's people who love and people who are like, eh. And I am a diehard because of that, because the fact that my first show was AL Dubs. And so then, you know, every cast album I would pour over everything. And I mean like Starlight Express. You know, big, huge fan. So
I,
that was my
I'm
first.
I am buzzing here because like Joseph was the first show that I ever saw as a kid.
No way.
It introduced me to musical theatre. It is the reason I do what I do. And to hear you say that, and to hear you say that about Andrew Lloyd Webber, because I know most US people like Stephen Sondheim. It's like we're all about Sondheim, but I'm the biggest Lloyd Webber
Yeah,
fan.
absolutely. I mean, you credit where credit is due, right? And like the proof is kind of in the pudding. I feel, you know, like it works. Whatever his system is, it works. And all it's just like hit after hit after hit. And I grew up learning those songs. I remember I grew up being trained on like I don't know how to love him, as if we never said goodbye, Gethsemane. Uh I love Andrew Lloyd Webber like a lot. Yeah.
So,
Matt, you're over there cheesing because this
oh my
is
God,
she's
I just
speaking
think
to your soul right now.
I want to
when
play the
you're
narrator in Joseph. That's like one of my dream roles.
when you're over here, we're going to arrange a meeting with you and Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's what we're going to do.
I first of all, say less, I'm there, but also the moment, so I met Andrew Lloyd Webber for the first time in the most iconic setting. It was the White House. I was with Gloria and Emilio. I was performing Coming Out of the Dark at the White House when Michelle Obama, thankfully,
Oh.
the Obama White House.
Oh, good.
And it was when Michelle Obama did a huge Broadway, The Importance of Theater event. And it was right around when we opened. And I remember meeting Andrew Lloyd Webber in this like gorgeous room where we were all like kind of celebrating. I don't remember why, like what was, the revival of Cats was the first, you know, not the first revival, but the revival of Cats that happened in 2016 was happening or something like that. And so Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber was there. And I remember there were so many incredible people there, right? And the one person that I was starstruck about and freaking out about was Andrew Lloyd Webber. And he came up to me and we talked and he said I reminded him of a young Catherine Zeta-Jones. And I was like, well, I can die happy today. And that was it. The next time I saw him was at the movie premiere of Cats, because since I'm such a diehard fan, everyone kind of knows this lore. And so like I always get invited to Andrew Lloyd Webber themed things. So I was at the movie premiere of Cats freaking out. And so we were like, oh my God, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And then again, when he DJ'd the after party for the Tonys at the Carlisle, and I think that was also 2016 or 2017. So I would love to see him when we're in London. That would be amazing. The show that got me signed when I was a senior in high school was Cats, and I played Grisabella. I was 17 years old. So I'm obsessed with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Have you gone to
Oh
the
my God.
Jellicle Ball yet?
Of course, I
Oh,
went
okay.
Broadway by myself and wept.
Hmm.
And I think it's going to be what I do for my final night in New York before moving to make my West End debut.
Oh, I
in
love that.
Yeah.
And I'm just listening to you, and we just started. And
Yeah.
I feel like over the past decade, you've had to
Mhm.
have had so many pinch me now moments.
Absolutely. I
What would
think
you say, what would you say has been the ultimate, holy crap, pinch me now, am I dreaming?
I mean, there's too many to name. A lot of bucket list items have been checked off. For me, the opening the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was a big one because I
Epic.
grew up
Major.
watching the parade. And it was just like the family in pajamas. every year, Thanksgiving morning. And I always dreamt of being part of it. And I thought I would just be like holding a balloon. Like I was the stand, I wasn't thinking that I would have to be, I don't know, like singing a solo necessarily. Obviously, like you dream about it, but then when you're there, you're like, wow, 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 I really have to make sure that I take this all in. And I'm kind of glad that I did that and so many things before social media was as present as it is now, because I wasn't on my phone for it. You know, it was right when like I was posting
Oh.
about it on Instagram, but after the fact, you know, people weren't going live, people weren't doing stories. It was kind of the beginning of Instagram being part of our world for work. So I got to actually be present for a lot of these things. I was also 24, so I got to actually be there rather than be there and feel the pressure of needing to document it for myself.
Mm.
And when they even announced to us that we were going to be part of the parade, I was like, oh my God, how cool. And I was so new to this, you know, it was my first Broadway audition, so I was very green. And then when we got to rehearsal for the parade, I'm there like, oh my God, we'll do like conga or something. Like it'll be like this huge group number. And Sergio Trujillo gets to the front of the room and was like, all right, gang, here's what's gonna happen. The camera is just gonna go up and it's Anna's face. And then
Uh-huh.
we zoom out from there and the parade starts. And I'm like, wait, what? I would have been happy to be like just in it in the back. So you know, coming to all of these experiences and being at the forefront, especially when I felt like I didn't deserve to be, if I'm being super real, that would be the pinch me of it all, which is that like not only was I having these experiences, but like I was at zero or in the front. And that you know, I had to do a little bit of fake it till you make it type stuff because, you know, you never expect that you're going to get all of that and be the focal point. So I think that took a lot of like getting used to, but I'm constantly the pinch me moments don't end.
The best cure for imposter syndrome is just to lean into it until you don't feel it anymore, you know?
Well, right. And I had to kind of, you know, and back then I was not as skilled at this as I am now, which it's taken me some recalibration, just because I was so young and thrown into it. I think I have learned to lean into the fact that I'm there for a reason. And Gloria, for example, and Sergio and Jerry, the director of On Your Feet, and you know, and subsequently all the directors ever since, the good ones, I have to believe that they see something, even if I don't at the moment,
Hmm.
they see something, and that gives me then the confidence to bring it out and to flourish in the way that I otherwise maybe wouldn't think that I can.
You mentioned obviously all of this has come from On Your Feet. So like that parade that you were talking about, and I just wondered how it all started with On Your Feet. What were the conversations that kicked it all off?
You mean getting the job?
Yeah.
Ooh, so I heard about the fact that they were casting for a girl to play Gloria Estefan in a Broadway show because my friend from high school is a journalist and she was covering the open calls in Miami, and they had seen thousands of young women for this at this point. And she calls me, she's like, Anna, and I was living in LA at the time because when I got signed off of Cats, I was taken immediately to LA to see if I would get an agent. I was signed on the spot and I moved to LA and I got a degree in opera while I was working as an actress. So, and you know, doing every job necessary in order to financially pay for the fact that I was trying to be an actress. And so I was living in LA and I get a phone call from my friend Laura, and she said, Anna, I'm covering these open calls. I'm seeing the people coming in for it. You need to tell your agents that you need to audition for this. So I tell my then team that I would like to audition for this, and they're like, no, like you're really finally. I was in callbacks for everything at the time. I was screen testing for huge shows on ABC Family and on Disney, and doing like I was there was momentum picking up in on the acting side, on the screen acting side. And I was like, yeah, but something is really calling me to this project. And like, it's so in line with everything I've done. I grew up doing musicals, like, trust me. And they're like, yeah, but you know, there's a formula. There are the girls who have been out in New York, working in ensembles and building their names in the Broadway space that have resumes in that world, and that's who's that, there's like a trajectory. And I was like, I hear you, but what they might not have is the authenticity, and what they might not have is whatever is keeping me up at night, telling me I need to audition for this role. I grew up a huge Gloria fan, and I had a signed headshot of hers that said "Love, Luck, Gloria." Um, that I kept in my room forever. Like the first song I ever sang in public was "Reach" by Gloria Estefan, because of the fact that it was the 1996 Olympic anthem. And when I was asked to sing for something in the year 2000, they said you could sing whatever you want, and I sang "Reach," and I was 9, I was 10 or 9. And so anyway, I get this phone call. I hear about this project. I hear about where they're at in the casting process. And I start fighting, fighting, fighting. And everyone's telling me no. So I take my managers out to a Cuban restaurant in Hollywood called Floridita on Fountain and Vine in a strip mall. And I get them a little drunk. And I'm like, get me in the room. Trust me, get me in the room. And I'm dancing with I used to go every Monday night to this salsa club. So I'm dancing salsa with all these randoms in Hollywood, trying to prove to my managers that like what they're not seeing is something that I just know that I have inside. And I had just done a show for Hulu called South Beach, where I played a super toxic pop star. And they had all this footage of me from that TV series. So they sent it after the night at the club. They sent it to Gloria's lawyer, Rick DePico. They were in the final, it had narrowed down to 3 girls. Within 2 days, I was on a flight to New York. It was September 28th, 2014, when I landed in New York for the audition, because it was my mom's birthday. I auditioned for Jerry Mitchell. The next day, I get a call from Bernie Telsey, who cast the show and who casts everything. And they're like, hey, everyone's talking about this random girl from LA who's in town to audition for On Your Feet, but Lin-Manuel Miranda would like to see you for this other show he's working on about like the founding fathers. And I was like, I don't have time. I was like, I don't have time.
I did
have
not know this.
Callback. And they're like, no, you should come. So I go, and I didn't have a book. I didn't have materials. I was only here for the Gloria stuff. And I sang from In the Heights and meet Lin-Manuel Miranda, Tommy Kail, Alex Lack, like all these people that are now in my phone book as my friends. And they, see me for Hamilton. But the lore is that when I walked out, Lynn was like, well, we can't cast her in Hamilton because she's going to be Gloria Estefan. And then I go to my callback for the Estefans and for the entire team, the Nederlanders, everybody for On Your Feet. And I was early. I was an hour early because I was so nervous. And I'm
You
sitting
weren't running on Cuban time?
I know. It's for the first time, thank God, conveniently. And I'm listening to the music over and over, trying to get her like intonations down and just trying to sound more like her than like me. And I'm listening to the music, and the casting director comes out, Justin Huff, he comes out and he's like, the girl who was scheduled for right now is running late, but you're here. Are you ready? And my internal monologue is like, sir, no, I need this time to like get my heart rate down. But the other side of my brain was like, yes, you were born ready. You have to say yes to this question. So I was like, of course. And I walk into the room and I'm like completely shaken and just a mess. And it's this long table, and Gloria and Emilio are sitting at the center. It kind of looks like the painting of like the Last Supper, you know? And I'm freaking out. I feel like I was watching from a different out of body, you know?
Sure.
And I was like, what are we starting with? And they're like, Rhythm is Gonna Get You, because at the time, Rhythm is Gonna Get You was the opening number. And I'm freaking out. The pianist starts, and I literally miss the entrance. But then when I realize I missed the entrance, instead of making it really awkward and making it clear to the room that I missed the entrance, they just repeat the intro. And when I hear that, I was like, you got this. And so I had done a lot of research. I had watched all these YouTube videos, and there was this one performance of Rhythm is Gonna Get You in Vegas. You know, the one where the alligator comes out? Do you know what I'm
Yep,
talking about?
yep.
Okay.
Caesar's Palace.
Classic.
So, okay, classic. And so there's this one random turn that I saw her do where her arms are outstretched like this, and she's just turning on herself and then lands. And so I just do it. And that moment kind of got me back into my body. And the moment I landed the turn, I looked straight at her and go, at night, and start the song. And the rest of it is a complete blacking out. I have no idea what else happened in the audition, but it happened. And when I left, 45 minutes later, I got the phone call that I had gotten the job. So
Wow.
it's a weird, so that's the story, is that I basically had to fight my way into the room. And then when I've heard her talk about the audition, she says there was a moment where before a scene, I put my hair up into a ponytail. And that I guess there was something about the way that I did it that in that moment she was like, it's game over. Lesson, fight for what you know is true to you, which I guess is also very on brand for Gloria. And number two, be early.
Don't run on Cuban time.
Be early.
Early is on time is late. That's
Exactly.
how I feel.
So, but that's literally, that is how it happened.
We're so glad that you persisted, that you just kept on going, because I remember when, not only when the show was announced, but when we finally had these faces, right? Who was going to be representing the Este-FANs. And the moment that I saw you, I just remember I was like, that's Gloria. That is her. And then when I saw you in Chicago for that very first show, when it was premiering for, what's it called? Because I'm not a theater person. So
Out of
The
town.
Out of Town.
Out of Town. There you go. I just remember looking at you, watching you perform, and I kept on thinking, the mannerisms. She understands Gloria. And she's not just taking on this role. She understands the assignment. Like, she knows exactly. So from a fan's perspective, when we're watching you, I just remember there was one point where you messed me up. And I don't know if it was actually the scene where Gloria's on the stretcher. Was that actually you on the stretcher?
Yeah. Yes. With the
Jesus
feet.
Jesus
When Dr. Beat
Christ.
used to be in when Dr. Beat was in the production.
Yes.
Yes.
I just
That was
remember I remember you seeing you on that stretcher, and it looked like I was watching Gloria on the stretcher, and it
Great.
killed me. But yeah, you nailed it. There's been other Glorias, and you know
Of
those
course. I've seen like 9 of them in
and
different countries, in different languages. I've seen so many
and
incredible
yeah, and it's beautiful to
actors.
see the interpretations. You know, Lene, which by the
Yeah,
way, she's got her own podcast now, so
I
super
know.
exciting. But
Of course.
you're the OG.
Oh
You're the
yeah.
OG. You killed
Thank
it
you.
with, I mean, what a way to kind of introduce this production to the world. I can't picture it having been with anyone else but you.
Thank you. I'm very detail oriented, and one of the things that I was really particular about, I think, you know what, I think what it is that but she is so important to me and was so important to me prior to even the idea of a musical ever even being part of my, like, I don't know, like prior to that being a reality. She was so important to me, and I think that my responsibility, because of how important she is to my culture, my community, the world, in my opinion, because it goes way beyond being Latin. Um, Everything she represents and represented to me before the concept of playing her was even in my mind was hugely helpful for then how I took myself out of it to become her, because the show could not be about me. Does that make sense? And
Absolutely.
obviously,
Totally.
it's a biographical piece, right? But I think it's a trap when you get your dream or a leading role in anything really, and then and you want to show your best self and all these things. And it was really immediate because even at the first audition, Lon Hoyt, our musical director, came up to me and was like, we get it. You're a super trained singer, you're a soprano, you have this like instrument. Everything you've learned about singing, throw it away and just sing the music, and don't try to show us you can sing well. Just sing like her and just try to be a little bit more casual about it because she's a rock star. She's not out there, you know, Ethel Mermaning. She's not Barbara
Right.
Streisanding. She's not you know, it's a little bit more accessible to the masses, which is why it works. And that for a, I mean, I'm trained in opera. I'm a trained classical singer. I've been singing musical theater, which is a little show offy, uh, my whole life. Stripping away the ego and stripping away going into something saying, look at me, and allowing it to really be about her is, I think, the way that the show works. Because yes, it obviously shows off all your skills as an actor and as a singer and as an, you know, as an artist yourself. But only when you disappear into the role is is the show going to really work its magic, in my opinion. So the fact that I was able to get that even at that age, and to like in the in the rehearsal studios, I remember on the breaks is when I actually did so much work, because when we would be on a break from rehearsing and the cast is, you know, having a snack, going to the bathroom, checking their phones, whatever, I would be locked in on Gloria Estefan and watching how she spoke to people and how she spoke to the band and how her hands would move when she was expressing herself, or how she would, little things that she would say that were so specific to her that then later on I'd be like, hey, I heard her say this. Can we say this line? It's the same line or the same sentiment, but can we say it a little bit more Gloria? You know, and like certain lines such as out of the clear blue sky, which eventually made its way into the script, which was actually just me hearing her say that in real life and inserting a Gloria-ism. The way when she's talking about music, especially, and her brain is working, and she's so intelligent, her hand, her left hand, sorry, starts going like this weirdly, like almost like she's like playing with something in her hand or like making some sort of magic.
Wow.
And it's just happening next to her. And I would see that and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to put that in the show. And I would find, or like the hair when she's performing and like her hair tossed, which mind you, those wigs were heavy. And I'd be
I can
like, you
imagine.
know, playing these hair tosses. My chiropractor was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, the Gloria hairography is severe. But I thought all of those details were important because it's what tie us together, for example, as fans. So I wanted people to be able to recognize the granular Gloria-isms that that would also anchor her for me as the actor, because then every time I would put that in, it would take me away from whatever Anna was thinking or experiencing at the time and put me directly into Gloria.
Yeah, and you nailed it. And Anna, I have to, before we move on from Monument, this because there's so much we want to talk about, but was there any particular moment in that show that meant more to you than others, or any particular song in it that meant more than others when you're performing it?
Famous.
Ooh.
Famous because it's the only time in the show where she was by herself. And it was the only time in the show where it was like recitative, you know, it was completely the inner monologue being shared with the audience. And I think a lot of her as an artist is sharing her inner self with the public. Her songwriting, her style, her like way of preserving her like legitimacy and her essence as a human being. And so Famous was my opportunity to do that as an actor. And it's so vulnerable. And I was in a robe and I was like in flats. Like there's who we present when we're performing, and then there's who we are as people. And Famous was my moment in the show to give the audience who she is as a person,
It's
if that makes
interesting that it's interesting
Yeah.
that you say that because whenever I find myself listening to the soundtrack, the one song that I will repeat over and over and over is Famous.
sense.
I
That's great.
because I love the lyrics.
Yeah.
Gloria's very cerebral, right?
Yeah.
And it just really showcased her songwriting.
Hmm.
But then there's your part of it where your interpretation of the song was just it blew not only me, it blew so many people, away with the
Thank
way
you.
that you sang it and the way that you interpreted the song. You understood it.
And it's crazy. I've understood it more and more as I've grown up as well. Because the show, obviously, like, you see her become who she is. And so I was, through coming to New York and doing the show, becoming who I am in
Yeah.
so many ways. So it
Yeah.
was such a parallel experience, and dealing with fame and dealing with that space between who we're presenting as and who we are, which anybody can relate to. You don't have to be a public figure to relate to that. But I think that navigating that space, I was doing in real time on Broadway.
Yeah.
And so it was my job to just be brave enough to expose that, I think, as her, if that makes sense. So it was a huge gift, I would say.
No, totally. And what was always cool to me about Famous, and even a song like Tradición, Young, for example,
Mm.
is that the minute a song starts, you as a fan know it like the back of your hand. But there were new lyrics in it that like told all of us, hey, listen, because you're watching something. You're not just listening to her songs at home.
The records, yeah.
Yeah. So the new lyrics in Famous, for example, tell the story from like where Gloria was at that point in her life, as opposed to the album version that we all know. Um,
Absolutely. And the
yeah.
coolest thing is I got to watch her write those lyrics, because we started initially with more the record versions
Mhm.
of the songs. And then as we progressed in rehearsals, she would be like, wait, let's like tweak right here. It's kind of like watching the David get sculpted, right?
Yeah.
Like because she would see that there was an opportunity for deeper storytelling.
So from one icon to another now, you're moving to the West End to start the new Frank Sinatra musical.
I am. And it's wild. And talk about pinch me moments. I was at the Savoy crying 2 weeks ago. And after our presentation of like the last of this new draft, and with our new Frank and all this stuff, and I was having a pinch me moment. And I was like, the reality is, On Your Feet and Sinatra, you rarely get one of those opportunities. So to get
Right.
it twice, where it's like the family is involved, the estates are producing, Universal Music Global are our producers for Sinatra. Like it's like these are really big universal commercial IPs and properties and icons. Icons. Like you
Yeah.
walk down the street anywhere and you say Gloria Estefan, they know who you're talking about. You say Frank Sinatra, they know who you're talking about. And so it's really impactful to be at the precipice of something like this again. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm moving to a new place where I don't know anybody. Check. I'm interpreting another like legendary person of the entertainment zeitgeist. Check. And I'm involved with these like household name icons who changed some aspect of the industry and the world at large. Check. That is wild. But I guess I have a brand or a type.
And
Um,
to be
I
building the show from the ground up too must
Yeah.
be exciting again. Yeah.
And and it is very exciting. And I've been very privileged to be able to be picky from the beginning of moving to New York, which is where like I really think like my career like started or launched in the way that I've wanted it to now. I've been very lucky to be able to be picky about what I do, because I've wanted to originate. I've wanted to be really, really careful about how I represent also, um, because it's important and because I've learned from the best. So Emilio's always been very, very much a mentor and a guidance in that aspect where I'll call him and be like, hey, should I do this? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. Or yes, absolutely. And so if you notice the pattern is even if it's been a little bit more spaced out, I've been very particular, do I want to just throw myself into anything for fame or for, the money or whatever? No. I want to be really, really specific about the spaces that I'm taking up. So I'm really grateful to be originating again and at the level that I will be and making my West End debut because the reality is I was offered to do the West End with On Your Feet. And when I couldn't do it because I was working with ABC at the time and I was working on something else in the TV space, I was devastated. I had bad dreams about it. I would wake up
Oh,
crying in the middle of the night and I tried to make it work. And I couldn't do it. And it's okay. Now looking back, I'm like, oh, maybe that makes sense to make my West End debut originating again. And I don't know, it just all kind of falls into place in a way that you never would have expected. But at the time, I
of
was like,
course.
this is horrible. What am I gonna do? And
Yeah.
so it's yeah, it's really surreal and really exciting because this has been on my bucket list for a very long time.
And what a bucket list you've had, and what a bucket list you've been able to check off. And going back to all these projects that you've done, it just following your career since On Your Feet, I just feel like everything that you've done has either had meaning or it's been special, from even your voiceovers with Wanba as Ava 8,
Yeah.
I was just recently watching a couple episodes,
Oh,
and
that's so fun.
yeah, and you've kind of done it all, you have theater, film, which let's talk about film.
Let's talk
What's
Oh,
about
what's
film.
yeah.
I
what's
took
going
like
on?
the deepest breath because it's,
What's going on there?
I mean, a lot. It's very different than theater. There's such an immediate gratification to theater, right? And so like I feel like when Castro's Daughter finally does come out, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. That happened. But it was an incredible experience and talk about, again, like embodying these incredible people. Like it's like Gloria, Alina Fernandez, AOC, now Ava Gardner. That that is a wild lineup of very powerful, impactful women with something really specific to say. And I'm proud to get to even be a tiny piece of their legacies, right? With Alina, she was on set the whole time, and everyone kept
Oh,
asking
wow.
me if it was okay, like if I was okay, because like they're like, Alina's like here and watching you play her. Is that fine? I'm like, I had Gloria Estefan watching me for years.
Love it.
I was like, this is fun. This is what I do, I guess,
Yeah,
now. But she's incredible and what a life. And, the repercussions of everything that she experienced, we're still seeing, right? So,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
it's a huge honor to get to even put her essence into my body, her words into my mouth, like all of that is really sacred to me. So I'm
Mm.
very excited for the world to learn more about her. And the film was made and a documentary was made at the same time. The documentary is going to be coming out first, and it's going to premiere this year at the Miami Film Festival, Miami International Film Festival. And Gloria is in it. So it's just wild. It's very full circle because Gloria Estefan talking about me playing Alina in the movie after I played Gloria Estefan in the musical about Gloria. Like it's just like it's all like very
Very Inception.
yes. And I'm very proud because, that's like layers of cultural impact that, at some point we're all going to look back and I'm going to be like, wait, how is it possible that to even know the two of them is enough, would have been enough. So to get to tell their stories and maybe bring more awareness to everything that they've accomplished and to who they are and everything that they've survived, honestly, because these women are
Yeah.
like warriors, is a huge source of pride for me and a huge source of pride for like the body of work that I'm building.
But Anna, like culturally, very significant. But thinking even bigger than that, there are little girls in Florida who maybe see themselves in you, in your career, in your life, in the project you've chosen to take on. What would your message be to those girls, and how does that feel as like an undertaking?
I think the message would be that you already have it all inside you and don't question it and go explore it because that is what I needed to hear, I think. And I'm grateful that I get to provide some sort of formula for that now to add myself to this lineup of like people who have followed whatever inner compass, whatever true north it is that you have that's telling you to like say that thing, write that thing, make that music. In Alina's case, leave,
Yeah.
do whatever you need to do that is coming from that inner compass. I think like that's a cool, I don't know, that's a cool formula to have followed for myself that then now hopefully other people can see themselves reflected and follow for themselves.
It's a major thing. And my last question for you is, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but much to my embarrassment, Gloria tends to listen to this podcast. So we have to watch what we say or edit out what we say when we say stupid things. But
Ooh.
Gloria's listening to you right now. What would you want to say to her?
I would say thank you. I would say, well, I texted her the other day because when I was in London 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago, searching for my apartment, there was one of all the apartments that they're setting me up with or that I was viewing. There was one that I couldn't get inside to the actual unit. And I'm very like, I have to feel everything. Like if I walk into the space, like if the vibes are off, it's not happening. And I walked into the building and I spoke to the doorman and I was like kind of getting a sense of the neighborhood, but I wasn't able to walk into the unit. And I was like, oh, but this was my favorite. And it's the closest to the theater. So when I walked out, I'm like taking a random right turn and I see a sign that says blame Gloria.
No way.
Oh, I know the one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's a bar. It's a bar.
Garden.
Yes, and it's a bar called Blame Gloria. And I was like, shit. And I take a picture of it and I text it to her. And I was like, this is where I'm gonna live. 100%. Because I do kind of blame Gloria for all of it.
100%.
And
Yeah.
so her response, she goes, I kind of want to know what you're blaming me for. And I was like, everything. And that's kind of how I would, that would be my message to her is I blame her for everything. I mean, when you see the potential in somebody and back them on that, which is what I feel they did for me, that's the most empowering thing you could ever do. And I've tried ever since to do the same, right? It's who holds the door open behind them to let other people come through as well. And that's why they have the impact that they've had. I've felt it personally in my life, and it's affected everything that I've done because I've seen how to actually lead. I've seen how to actually be that girl because Gloria is that girl. So, so who would I could never then become the alternative, which is some toxic version of like an impersonator, probably.
Right.
So that's kind of been the best is like just like lead by example, and they've been the perfect example.
Yeah.
Lack of a better word. Also, I took this out of the archives today for you guys. This is a mug that I found in Chicago for the out of town of On Your Feet that says "Make It Happen," which was from TJ Maxx. That like when you're like looking for like candles at TJ Maxx and then there's like a million mugs. And so this was just like sitting there and it said "Make It Happen." And I was like, well, I need to have that.
You
and
have to have it.
It's a sign.
I love it. And what would you, and we're going to go into a rapid fire little game. But before we do, that little girl, that fourth grader, if you could go back in time, what would you tell that fourth grader as she's preparing for her musicals and, what's to come?
Oh, now I'm getting emotional. I would tell her it's okay. I would tell her it's okay. I think, I was a kid I always felt really scared and like alone. And I thought I was so weird. I didn't feel like the other girls. I wasn't the pretty girl. I was not like anyone's first pick for kickball or whatever. Like I just like I didn't know where I fit, you know? So I would just tell her that it is okay and it's gonna be okay. Because I think I was just in some form of a panic constantly. And I would say that that doesn't really go away. Like, you know, like it gets
No.
better. But yeah, I would just like give her a hug and tell her it's
Yeah.
okay.
Can I give you a hug right now? Can I give you a
Yes,
virtual hug? Because now you have
virtual
me
hug.
all
Uh-oh.
teary-eyed. Like, I don't know, con la vejez, all of a sudden it's
I
like
know,
all
right? The emotions.
it's
There's
the
some
emotions. I
Mercury's in retrograde or something. Who knows?
Again, yes, it is.
Yeah, no, but I think, you know, like I think it's the human experience, right? But
Right.
I definitely I felt like a little bug, you know, like the magnifying glass, like that thing where like the sun is hitting the magnifying glass and
Mm.
there's like little bugs squirming. I felt like that a lot as a kid and growing up and even as an older kid, like during On Your Feet even. And so it's really beautiful now to feel like I'm on a very similar precipice in my life, but I know so much more now.
Yeah.
And I
Mm.
have been hugging that little kid now. And I have even hugged the girl in On Your Feet who was freaking out and was carrying it beautifully. But you know, I was a little bit of a mess. And I think people don't know that. I didn't have the luxury of showing that. But now on the other side of it, I'm really proud. And I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Mm.
I'm really proud to have carried everything that I carried for them, really, and to have made it out and still had the spine to say, okay, I need to figure out Anna before I get lost. And so now it's really exciting to go into a similar process and to go into like the next chapter empowered with all of that knowledge. Más sabe el diablo, right? Por viejo.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You want to hear an English person try some Cuban words because
I
this
would
is
love to.
it's going to be hopeless, Anna. I'm not going to lie, but this is the quick fire round that that they've thrown at me. I think just to have a laugh at me. Oh my God, this is like
Huesito
Gloria
would help you.
Estefan. She's going to
There you go.
unfollow me on every single social media platform. Right, Anna, quick fire round. Are you ready?
Oh,
Yes.
wait a second. But the way that we're gonna play is you're gonna ask Rob and I the questions, and then
Okay.
we're gonna see if our answers match Anna's.
Got it.
All right.
So
I got my
listening-
bustelo. We're good.
All
Right,
let's
okay.
do
So
this.
this is what you think Anna is going to say, right? Okay.
Well, no.
Oh,
This
okay.
is gonna be
No.
my answer.
Our
I just want
opinions.
to, yeah,
Okay.
we want to
Okay.
see if our answers match
It's
hers.
the Cuban match game.
The Cuban match
Okay.
game.
Okay. Okay, right. So, croquetas or empanadas?
I say
Croquetas.
croquetas.
No brainer.
Oh my God.
Croquetas from Islas Canarias.
Oh, Islas Canarias. Oh my God. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Those
Not
are
all
the best.
croquetas are created equal.
No, they are not, and those are fire. Okay.
They are.
Sorry, this is not going to be rapid, is it?
It never is.
It never is. Okay.
Oh my God. Right. Colada or cafecito? Am I saying that right? I'm so British.
That was
doing well.
perfect.
Yeah. Rob,
Cafecito.
cafecito for me.
Cafecito. Across the board.
Okay, we're doing good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, not this one. Pastelito de guayaba. Oh my God.
Okay.
That was great.
Hey.
Or queso entre leche. No?
Okay, so it's pastelito de guayaba y queso or de carne.
All right, Carlos.
So what do you say, Rob?
I hate the ones de carne. I don't even like the ones with con queso. I like plain guayaba.
Okay, so this is going to be the true battle here. So I say de carne.
Ugh.
That's the only one I don't know. I know pretty
Anna,
much every the
what
rest.
say you?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go with de carne.
Yes.
Ugh.
I know. As a kid, that was like my obsession.
Oh my God. We would have them every Sunday and I would grimace.
All
I
right,
do
explain.
make pastelitos de guayaba at home.
Me too. They're easy. They're fun to make and easy. And
They're
people
super
go crazy because they're like, oh, this is so exotic. Like,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm.
All right, you guys have to explain to us what those are. That's the only thing in the list I know because I love Cuban food, but I don't know this one.
What a pastelito is?
Yeah, what's the
A
I don't recognize
pastelito
it.
is like puff pastry
Mhm.
filled
Okay,
with
that's right.
guava paste or guava jam.
Guava paste, yeah.
And then cream cheese if you want, or the ones that carne are puff pastry again, and they
Picadillo.
have picadillo.
Mhm.
but it's like sweeter. It's
Yeah,
not
because you
picadillo that you
glaze
eat
it.
like out. It's a really pastelito de carne. It feels sweeter, and then there's like this glaze, like there's a layer of, I'm assuming, sugar on top of the puff pastry, and that one's in a circle.
Yes.
Yep, I
Oh,
have
it
seen
sounds
those. I've
amazing.
never tried them, but now I know what you're talking about.
You deserve it.
Sounds amazing.
Mhm.
How are you all so slim? I don't understand. You obviously don't eat them. I mean, God, I don't
I don't remember the last time I had a pastelito, to be clear.
Mm.
know.
Ava Gardner's waist is like the size of my wrist, so it's gonna be a struggle.
All right.
Wes, do
Next.
you want to ask one?
Ready?
All right. Cuban sandwich or medianoche?
For me, it's medianoche.
Oh, for me, it's Cuban sandwich.
Medianoche all day.
Yes.
All day.
So I'm 4 for 4 right now.
Look at you. Okay.
Tostones or maduros?
So
Rob.
good. It's good.
Oh, I've had a Maduro renaissance lately. I didn't like them growing up, and I like them a lot more now. So I'm going with Maduros.
Okay. For me, it's tostones.
For me, it's maduros.
Oh no, Anna,
Aha.
don't do this to me.
Always,
one.
always. In fact, I don't even need to look at a tostón.
Fine, be like that. Okay, next one.
Vaca frita or ropa vieja?
For me,
Who's ropa vieja?
Mm.
Mine? Because then mine. Ropa vieja all the way.
for me, ropa vieja all day, every day. I could eat that for the rest of my life.
100% ropa vieja.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
right.
Now,
Well,
hear
vaca
me
frita
out. A tostón with ropa vieja,
is nice.
Ooh, so good.
Mhm.
interesting.
That is nice.
But
So good.
ropa vieja for sure. And my grandmother makes, I mean, Rob, I'm interested. I'm
I
very,
got you.
but yeah, Mimi's ropa vieja.
Okay, okay. Next one.
Flan or tres leches?
I'm not a fan of tres leches. I've never been a fan of tres leches. I've gone to Este-FAN kitchen and they do a decent tres leche that I'll eat, but for me, it's flan all day long.
I agree with you. I agree with
Flan
that.
forever.
Flan forever? Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Flan
All right.
forever.
Sounds
I
good.
think I can do the next one.
Yes.
Salsa or merengue? Got it.
Salsa all day.
Salsa.
Salsa.
Okay, all right. All right. We have 3 more.
Noche Buena or Thanksgiving?
Come on.
I'm a big
Noche
Noche
Buena.
Yeah.
Wait, now, what are we talking about? How is that even a question?
What is Thanksgiving?
I know. I'm like, who is she? Thanksgiving is a gateway drug to Noche Buena.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
It just
Okay.
means it's getting closer.
Love it. Okay, next one.
English, Spanish, or Spanglish?
Oof.
I only know one language, and that's Spanglish.
Yeah, I guess Spanish is, got me my job, so that's important. But Spanglish is much easier to speak all day than Spanish is.
I think Spanish. I think more in Spanish. I grew up in a Spanish speaking household, and it's very much my first language. It's also just so much more romantic. It's so much more like fluid and languid. Like there's just so much more English. There are so many rules that do not make sense to me in English.
Mhm.
Right.
No offense to the
No,
English.
we have a stupid.
No.
I'm gonna go with Spanish. I'm gonna go with
Spanish.
Spanish.
Okay,
Same here.
okay. And the last one. This one is
The
so
controversial.
So
Boy.
controversial.
Wes, take it away.
Picadillo with or without pasas?
So anyone that's been watching the show or listening to the show and following us on social media knows that Gloria and I have been battling it out and she will not let it go. I have never tried, nor am I interested in trying picadillo with pasas. So for me, picadillo without pasas all day, every day. But it seems like this is going to change because, once again, she's not letting it go. I will wake up to messages from her saying, when are you trying it? When are you trying it? So for me, picadillo without pasas.
Without. But I mean, just because she makes you try it doesn't mean you have to like it. You could take
That's
one
true.
spoonful.
That is
You've also
true.
never had a raisin in your life, which is
I've never
crazy.
had, I know, I don't think she knows that I've never
You've
had
never had a
Whoops.
raisin?
No.
Is that not crazy?
That's insane.
I don't
It
like
just
them, and that's
looks so
crazy.
disgusting. They look so I don't understand the purpose of a raisin.
You might like them then.
That's true.
I have to tell you, I'm with Gloria on this one.
No,
Oh, no.
Delicious. Also, it's like a perfect little burst of sweet, and it's such a completely different texture to the picadillo.
You've studied her way too much because that's the
Fun fact,
same
wait.
thing that she told me.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I've never asked her this. This is actually outside of the scope of things I studied about her. So this is just genuinely my actual opinion. But I will say she's allergic to bananas, and from the moment I got the part to probably a solid couple months after, I did not have a single banana,
Oh,
like a
fun.
raw
That's so
banana.
funny.
Like, yeah. So you know,
That is
it
awesome.
is what it is.
So,
But picadillo with pasas, man.
okay, fine. Well, I have no other choice. She's making
The
me.
audacity that they're in there. It's just like so good.
Okay, well, I think I wasn't keeping track, but I kind of was. I think I won this. I think I got the most matches.
Okay.
I'm a little competitive.
Go eat a
Oh,
raisin.
got me, man.
I
So,
still can't believe you've never had a raisin.
oh, shut up.
No.
We're moving on. We're moving on. So, Anna, we're gonna wrap up, and one of the things that we do right before we end our show is we let it loose, right? And
Cool.
you have the opportunity to let it loose on whatever it is. Is there anything that you want to let it loose on?
Yes. I mean, first of all, I think I'm in a chronic state of wanting to let it loose. That's just how I live. But no, I think right now, just everybody needs to come to the West End. Everybody needs to come to London and see Sinatra and see the absolute extreme opposite side of what, going from Gloria to Ava is really exciting. And so I feel like that in and of itself is letting it loose. It's such a different dynamic and such a different role. And I'm really excited for people to like meet her through me. I'm going to be this I will let loose for sure, which is that I'm releasing music for the first time.
Ooh,
And
Yay.
Gloria and Emilio have been heavily influential in that process and in telling me that I should and in supporting me during it. So I'm very excited about that. And I will be recording everything, not everything, but at least the EP before London. And so that's going to be really fun.
nice.
And I'm doing a farewell concert in Miami on April 16th, right 2 days before I move to London. So I'm going New York to Miami, doing a farewell show, farewell America, I guess, for the time being. And then from Miami on the 18th, I'll be flying to London to move into my new apartment. So I'm very excited. And we are letting it loose in all the ways. I feel like I'm like, wow, I was about to say coming out. And so I'm
Oh.
like, I have to
Wait,
say
is this a
coming out
Pride
of the
episode?
dark. No, I feel like I'm like coming out of the dark in so many
There you
ways. I
go.
feel like, there's been a lot of things brewing for a long time, and now they're finally happening. And so I'm just really, really excited to let it loose in that way.
I love it. I love it. And what a blessing for us that that little girl just kept on going. And because, like we've said, we've been following your career for quite some time now, and you yourself have been so inspirational.
Thank you.
And we're so excited for everything that you've done. We're so excited for everything that's coming. I'm doing my best to make it out to Miami to see you at that
Yeah.
concert. So, really excited. What are some things that we could expect from that concert?
So different genres. One of the things I love about concerts and when I do like my stuff is kind of breaking people's brains. So whether that's like mashups, the last show I did a mashup of House of the Rising Sun with Veinte Años and like things like that because I exist in all of these different spaces. I exist very heavily in musical theater. I exist very heavily in pop. I exist very heavily in Latin. And my experience is not one more than the other. It's where they all intersect, right?
Yeah.
And so like, even looking at my set list, which is right next to me because I have rehearsal tomorrow, is like, you know, how does someone go from Celia Cruz to Wicked? How does somebody go from No Scrubs to Selena? Like, you know, and so like things like that, which are very much real to me. And then also releasing my original music for the first time and premiering it in Miami, which was highly important to me. It was going to be a venue here in New York, which I've played before, which is very iconic and very New York, or taking it home. And I was like, you know what? It really makes sense to me to take it home, especially because through all of this, the idea of home has always been huge. And I think that especially is important right now for like kids of immigrants, grandchildren of immigrants, or immigrants themselves, and keeping that authenticity and keeping that idea that like we are still those little kids. You know, I don't know if you guys watched the Hannah Montana 20-year special thing, but
Sure
like
did.
we are those little kids. And so
Mhm.
we owe it to those little kids to like never forget, even as we continue to reinvent ourselves and to flourish in all these different new spaces, new countries. It's important to always like keep that sense of home and that sense of anchor, and like nothing, there's nothing, you can't put a price tag on that, because that's the authenticity and that's what people see themselves reflected in.
And one last question with the your debut in on the West End. When can we
Yeah.
expect that? I know it's this year, but do we have a date yet?
Yes, so we open for previews June 3rd, which is 2 days before my birthday. And
Yay!
then we open officially, press night is June 24th. So, yeah, so it's
Amazing.
very exciting. It's summer. It's the
Yeah.
best time, as what I've heard. London during the summer is just like ideal. So I'm very excited about that. And it's, you know, everything you know and love and did not know about Frank Sinatra and his life, and what got him to be the icon that he now is. And it's the women around him. So
Mm.
it's really, really a great piece, and it's a very brave piece. You are not going to go see the squeaky clean image. Nobody wants a PG version of Sinatra's life, because we all know that that's not what it was.
Hmm.
Right.
So they're being really courageous about it. His daughter is our executive producer, Tina Sinatra, and she is incredible. She's a force to be reckoned with, and she's not afraid to show that her dad was not perfect, and not afraid to show the women who were instrumental in making him the icon that he is. And for me, Ava Gardner was beautiful. And yes, that's great. But like she was absolutely ahead of her time. I'm really, really proud of the character that I get to play, and it's going to be very fun. The music is
That's
also just incredible, so it's great.
that's
Anna, just to
awesome.
manage your expectations, it will rain at some point while you're here, because it always does.
Yes,
So
for
bring
sure.
an umbrella. Bring an umbrella. And I tell you what, we're going to go and drink and blame Gloria after the show and then like raise a glass to her. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely. Done and done.
Well, damn, now I need to book my flight because I'm not, I suffer from major FOMO. So
You
if I
do.
see you two together, you know, blaming Gloria, no, no, I will
It's
be
so
right there with
perfect.
you.
You should come. Everybody's invited.
Let's,
It's happening. And I get the feeling it's going to happen more than once. And I also get the feeling that Gloria will be at Blame Gloria with us. So
Oh,
let's
for
do it.
sure.
But with no pasas, please.
I'll bring the raisins.
Oh, fine. Anna, thank you so much. This has been
Thank
so
you.
wonderful. And once again, it's been a blessing for us, everything that you've done and watching you grow. And we can't wait to see you. And I can't wait to be partying with you in Miami.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, thank you so much. This is awesome.
What a special episode that was. What a thrill. We survived our first interview. I think we did pretty well.
I think we
I
did.
hope so.
Thank you to Ana Villafañe for giving us the time, for being so generous with her time, with her answers, being so open and honest. And also, special thanks to our co-host for doing all the heavy lifting, for giving our little dog and pony show some street cred, with West End theater, right? So thank you so much to Matt for also being super generous with his time from his office. And editor in chief is a needed guy. We could see a bunch of people like trying to get his attention while he was on the Zoom. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate so much to Matt and to Anna for spending time with us today. I can't believe it. I'm floored.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on cloud nine for the next week.
If you too are on Cloud9, please feel free to like, share, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Don't forget to email us with any ideas or opinions you may have. We will see you again next time for another episode of Let It Loose. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Let It Loose, a Gloria Estefan podcast. Let It Loose was produced by Carlos, Rob, and Wes, with graphic design by Laura. Thank you to Gloria for bringing us all together. Subscribe, rate, and share the love, and join us next week for a brand new episode.